But there's one thing of which we find Frank Luntz has no doubt. He is off the charts when it comes to registering with Republicans. Frank, good to see you. Explain.
Yes, but first, Neil, you hate the Star Wars movies?
Yeah, all of them. Every single one. The biggest mistake they ever made was bringing those ridiculous, idiotic, stupid characters to film.
You sound like you would have eaten the Easter Bunny. You sound like you would have shot Santa Claus out of the air with a handheld
Santa
grenade
Claus
launcher.
Pass the Easter Bunny, I would have. That's a whole nother story and drama because I like to dig into controversy. People hate me for it, so I do want to go to that. But I do want to also talk a little bit about this passion factor that seems to benefit Ted Cruz. Explain.
Yes. And it's very clear, and we've seen this now in all 5 debates. Ted Cruz has done incredibly well in all 5 debates, which is why he's either second or third in every survey, that he's gaining in every survey. He says the things that the public has wanted people from Washington to say, and he says it so articulately. And I even brought a clip, Neil. This first one, he goes at Barack Obama more directly than any other candidate, and watch how high the lines climb as he rips the president for being unwilling to say the words that Republicans want him to say. Let's take a look.
Looking at a president who's engaged in this doublespeak, where he doesn't call radical Islamic terrorism by its name. Indeed, he gives a speech after the San Bernardino attack where his approach is to try to go after the constitutional rights of law-abiding citizens rather than to keep us safe. And even worse, President Obama and Hillary Clinton are proposing bringing tens of thousands of Syrian refugees to this country when the head of the FBI has told Congress they cannot vet those refugees.
It's off the charts. He continues with that statement. Every time that Cruz does a critique of Barack Obama, he's scoring. And he's scoring because he is explicit and specific. And that's it's very impressive to watch, and it's why his numbers have gone up so much.
All right, but when they do go up, it's almost on any issue, right? I mean, another hot button issue, of course, ISIS, how you deal with ISIS. But it resonates because of the way he's framing the debate or the way he's saying it's all the president's fault?
It's both. I'm going to give you 3 tactics that any presidential candidate should be using. Number 1, you begin with a declarative statement so the voters know exactly where you're heading. Number 2 is that you've got to show one fact or one specific. In this case, he gave an example of the president's speech. And number 3, you've got to wrap it like a gift. So it needs a 2-sentence conclusion that clearly blames this president and Hillary Clinton and offers an alternative. You do those 3 steps, and you're going to score well in these debates.
All right. The issue always comes up with the stuff you say that engenders such passion, even if they're not always accurate. I mean, Brett Baer called him to task on some inconsistencies versus things he said, for example, on immigration in the past versus now. Do you think that trips him up? And, you know, Donald Trump has proven bulletproof when it comes to these slip-ups when they occur. What about the senator?
And that's a great question. And actually, Trump and Cruz are going to be treated differently. Trump, the assumption is that he's going to get things wrong, but if he became president, he would have people around him to get it right. They're going to hold Ted Cruz, mark my words, they're going to hold Ted Cruz to a higher standard because they expect more from a United States senator than they do from a businessman. No one assumes that Trump is going to get 100% or even 80% right, but they believe he's headed in the right track. For Cruz, because he's a United States senator, they assume that his details, that his facts are correct, and if he gets it wrong, he will be held accountable.
All right. Always good seeing you, Frank.
Thank you.
By the way, don't bother watching the movie. I didn't even watch it. I can't be bothered, so don't get sucked in.